What's up, SOBs, and welcome to the Stream of Blood, a tabletop role-playing game Twitch channel where we bring you the hottest public domain digital jams. Thank you, Secret GM Clinton Trucks, for that fantastic theme music for tonight's game here on the Taste of Blood, where we play all kinds of games. We taste a little of this, a little of that. Tonight we have something very special for you, part 2 of an experiment. We bring to you John Harper and Sean Nittner's excellent game, Agon. Agon from Evil Hat Productions. Agon, a game of Greek odyssey, of Greek tragedy, of Greek Iliadery. A game where you play heroes that have pathos and agony and do kind of incredible, over-the-top, amazing things to serve gods and to serve their own legend. Well, we have, with the help of Sean and John, we have hacked this game. We have hacked it, because this is the Stream of Blood. And although Greek heroes with swelling biceps and really tight glutes would fit right in here, and one day I think we will play original recipe Agon, this is the Stream of Blood, so we wanted to make it a little more thematic. So tonight we bring you a tabletop role-playing game version of BLOODSTROKE 2 Sagas of the Ravensguard, a game that originally appeared on the classic PlayStation in the fiction that we have come up with for it. You know what? If you weren't here last week, it's going to be... I'll keep explaining, but it's a lot of fun is all you need to know. Let me bring in our amazing cast for tonight's game, and then we will get rolling. Oh, I should always say this. Please subscribe if you haven't already, or buy someone else's subscription, or there's even a donate button. Pop, and we use that just to kind of, pay our artistic director and try to bring you more content. We've always got plans, wheels within wheels here at the Stream of Blood. So please hit the subscribe. And then the other thing I will say to you is that the Stream of Blood can often be an 18 plus channel, meaning we're dealing with vampires tonight. We're dealing with over-the-top video game violence. So if those kind of things turn you off, maybe watch one of our other games or give this a pass. And remember, you can always talk to us about our content on our Discord, the Server of Blood. Get on our Discord, go into those rooms, those channels, and tell us what you thought. We really take it seriously. We really read the comments, and we really do want to hear your thoughts, questions, concerns, any reaction that you've had. We're here to hear it. I got that out of my mouth. Okay, now let's bring in the cast. She is a fantastic actress who is also a streamer and my new favorite player to play with. We just got to do a Cthulhu storyline with her, and she was just game to come right over here into the vampire multiverse. Please welcome, as I believe, a flame dancer, Mary Lou, everybody.
Hello!
Hello! What's your flame dancer's name again?
Her name is Alonia Burnbite.
Alonia Burnbite, yes. She is kind of a half Russian ballerina, half arsonist?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like a half flame alchemist from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Half
Yes.
flame alchemist, half KGB trained ballerina spy in there.
I'm into FMA. That's what I call Full Metal Alchemist, FMA.
Oh, cool. I just got into it, so I'm still learning the lingo. So yeah, I'm also into FMA.
People say FMA, people say,
Cool.
or you could just say Full Metal, like you just leave off the Alchemist.
Heck yeah, I'm into Full Metal. I'm into FMA.
Okay, well, that's great. And also, I can't wait to see what you do tonight, because your character had so much spirit last time. You really kicked ass. You really got right into the vibe of what we were doing. So thank you so much for being here again, Mary Lou.
My pleasure.
Bring in our other two players. They are the designers of Agon. And they've worked together on other games that we love here at the Stream of Blood, like Blades in the Dark, the greatest role-playing game in the last 20 years, my opinion. And they're just really cool, fun dudes, and we're so honored that they would come and play with us. Please welcome Sean Nittner and John Harper, everybody. Huzzah!
Pleasure to be
Hello.
here. Pleasure to be here, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back. Thank you for coming to play with us. Thank you for letting us showcase your game. Thank you for hacking the game and creating a vampire version. Thank you.
We're going to make it available for people who have been asking on Twitter today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to post the character sheet and the little notes page of the hack, so the ravenous few who just cannot wait to do it themselves will be able to grab that. I'll post it on Twitter, and maybe someday we'll make it into a proper playset that's more fleshed out. But yes, the answer to the fans is yes. You'll be able to play it. I'll post it, and you can do it yourself.
And I'm going to go you one farther, John. Go into your local gaming store, whether it's open or not. Go up to the counter and say, "Hey, I want to play Bloodstroke 2 Sagas of the Ravensguard," and then look right in the person's eye and go, "Now."
Mm-hmm.
And see what kind of reaction you get, and just let us know on our Discord.
I can do that. I think I should also maybe go to my local sort of like secondhand video game place and see if they will try to find the original PlayStation disc for me.
Yeah.
See what that process is like.
You should just print out the cover that Clint has made and just be like, it's this game. I just need this one. Come on. I had it when I was a kid.
It's pretty famous. I don't know. You've never heard of it?
I'm surprised.
Yeah, we should do that. We should create the false history that this was a real thing. I love those.
Get one of those Mandela effects going.
That's what I'm saying. The more
do you guys believe in Mandela effect, or do you think it's there we go? See, more proof that it's real.
That
obviously
looks real to me.
Real. Would Clinton trucks have a graphic of it?
How would you even do that?
Exactly. Exactly. It's literally a picture of it.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I don't know.
Seems self-evident to me.
Oh, London Carlisle, who will be GMing on our Stream of Blood the next 2 or 3 weeks on the Taste of Blood night. He's asking, it's not real? No, it is real, London. This is part of the whole joke, is that we act like it's not real, but it is real, and you should go and try to buy it.
It's real in our hearts and also the world, because it's real.
Yeah, it's just
real.
real.
We're making it real right now. This is actually the playthrough of the video game. This is exactly how it worked. We're just choosing all the options that were in the video, like the video game choices.
It's basically a walkthrough, you know. Yeah. So if you get the disc, you can just follow along with us. And,
if you do what these players do, you'll beat the game. Speed run. My question for you guys is, can you think of any other tabletop role-playing games that were based on a video game? Because I was kind of drawing a blank. I think there might have been a Street Fighter one.
I was going to say Street Fighter 2. Yeah. White Wolf published a really good adaptation, actually. It was fun. Like, it was fun to have tabletop fights that were a lot like playing Street Fighter. It was pretty cool.
There's really no Zelda? There's no Zelda?
There's none.
Zelda. There should be. Nintendo's weird about their licensing, but
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
There really should be.
There are a lot of Nintendo games that would be perfect.
There are
Mario even has his own RPG in the video games, but they don't. They never.
They didn't make it.
They never said, let's make Paper Mario into a pen and paper game.
There's also Dishonored, which came out a couple years ago. There's a Dishonored game. Yeah,
Dishonored has. I mean, I prefer the Blades in the Dark universe, but whatever. I mean,
some people prefer it. It's cool.
I don't know. I mean, like whale blood that powers electricity is kind of. I mean, that's kind of stupid. But demon blood that powers electricity, that makes sense to me.
I don't know. Playing Blades actually got me to read Moby Dick because I never had. It's a weird ass book, but the description of it, I pulled many details from that book, and I mean, so many of them fit as they talk about, and the way he talks about hunting whales, it's awful, but it also is like, that's like a horror story right there. That is terrible, and I'm putting it right into my Blades game. Yes.
Moby Dick is great. I also recommend I think it's the James Mason 1955 movie. Yes. The very end, spoiler alert from Moby Dick, which I think was published in 1841. At the very end, Ahab's hanging onto the side of the whale, and they had to do it all with practical effects. and he's like like attached to the whale, and it's it was both cheesy and tragic. I loved it.
Yeah, it's great.
I so prefer practical effects to digital. I
think
love
it'd be
when
really cool if yes, I'm with you, Mary Lou. If like they just suddenly made a law that everybody has to use practical effects now, and the next Marvel movie was just people in like foam.
Yeah. Man, the Hulk would really struggle, right? Like
that would be tough. Yeah, that one would be tough.
It would really make me happy.
As a treat.
Right, if you're good at the end,
right? I mean, they did it in Lord of the Rings, so you just have
a big muscle suit with like
Mark
a muscle
is very
suit
close
over
to the
it.
camera, and everyone else is farther away, and it's fine. It's fine.
Well, let's use some practical effects tonight as we play BLOODSTROKE 2: Sagas of the Ravensguard, and I will very briefly recap these half vampires. Dompiers, if you will, those infected by the bite of a vampire, but committed to the cause of justice and purifying the multiverse of Dracula's unholy taint, the Ravensguard. They hang out in sort of a multiversal hub called the Vessels, and while they were there, they were attacked by corpse puzzles, which are these little floating heads that like kind of cut off multiversal gates. And they knew that if even one got away, if even one got away, it would get back to Dracula, the master vampire who ruined the multiverse, and tell him where they are. I just saw a corpse puzzle go by Mary Lou's camera.
That's exactly what that is.
Even though they completely succeeded in destroying all the corpse puzzles, one got away because it's a video game, and I was railroading a little bit. And they jumped through the multiversal portal to Red Hand Mesa. Which is sort of an old westy town kind of mixed with a gothic vampire nightmare. And they discovered that there was a murderer on the loose, the Red Hand Ripper. And they used their amazing Ravensguard vampire hunter skills to kind of track this murderer and his followers. They had a huge fight with the priests of Kalu, the followers of this vampire leader, and then they managed to, I couldn't believe this, Lash, Sean's character, is it a shadow mage?
Yeah, it's
Sean?
a blade mage. Yeah.
Sorry, thank you. I apologize. Blade mage managed to actually awaken the high priest from his vampiric mesmerism, and he told them everything. He told them the story of Prince Kalu, the Black Prince, who took Dracula's gift of vampirism in order to take his father's throne here in Red Hand Mesa, and then marry the servant girl that he loved, but unfortunately, as a vampire, he sired an unholy progeny, a monstrous nemesis creature that currently hangs out in the necropolis. And so our vampire hunters, these three players, were like, let's go there right now and see that, because that sounds awful, and we want to look at it. So they went to the necropolis, which is just like a giant cathedral full of coffins. They climbed using platform jumping up to the top, where there's just like crosses everywhere. So many crosses. You're like, how did they fit all these crosses up here? It must be like a video game. Like, where the designer was like, I can make lots of crosses, and then the head developer was like, do that. And so there's just all these crosses hanging off of it, and myriad, millions of crosses. And that is when the creature appeared, the son of the vampire you're hunting. Yes, or the progeny of the vampire you're hunting, the awful nemesis of the necropolis. It blotted out the moon for a second, and then landed on one of the crosses and howled like a mad ape and rushed at you. And now we are going to get to look into Agon's battle system. So I will just when we kind of talk about your actions, we can kind of talk about your characters again, so we remember a little bit who they were. We know we have a blade mage over with Sean. We know you were a gunhammer, right, John?
I am a gunhammer, and my character, Augustus Bonneville, is also a gunhammer. That's correct.
Right, John, you personally are a gunhammer at home, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, Mary Lou, I know that you have dabbled in flame dancing as well.
Flame dancing. That's all I do. It's my thing.
Very good. So Alonia Burnbite, the flame dancer, Augustus Bonneville, the Gunhammer, and Lash, the Blade Mage, are facing off against this thing. And we are going to talk about Agon's battle system, which has like 3 distinct phases. So it's like any contest in Agon, except that it's bigger, it's more dangerous, it's more. It's even more than the other contests in Agon. And so it begins with a clash. And in the initial clash between this sort of mini boss or boss monster that I've presented to you, you can each choose a preferred domain to fight this creature with. So we should enter the combat just the way all of the contests in Agon are entered. The creature blots out the moon, howls like a mad beast, jumps down off the bouquet of crosses, and threatens to tear you apart. Who will dance with the nemesis of the necropolis?
I, Augustus Bonneville, will, and in addition, John Harper, the co-author of Agon, will mention that the clash, important detail of the clash, is that we are maneuvering against the foe right now. We're not fighting yet. Where this is our like opening gambit to seize an advantage, to maneuver into a good position, or trick them, or find a vulnerability, that kind of stuff. We'll do the actual fighting after this. This is kind of the like setup part,
right? Because the winner of this initial clash, in addition to getting the glory like you do at the end of every contest in Agon, will also get a D10 advantage die that they can use later in this sort of boss battle, sort of battle system. So,
and the Spawn of Kalu could get that as well. It's not just jockeying between us,
right?
You know, like we could be outmaneuvered as we enter the necropolis of this.
The horrible demon Spawn of Kalu could win this and get that D10 advantage die. I didn't realize that, and that's super exciting.
Oh yeah, just feeding you goodies. Yeah. It's also notable that this is the time when normally everyone has to sort of agree on a domain. Either the players take an action that is clearly indicative of a particular domain, or the GM, the Strife player, presents them with a challenge, and they say this is going to be a contest, whatnot. But the Clash is one of the few domains where everybody can say, I'm going to approach it this way or that way. So everyone can kind of play to their strengths, or if not, they can play to whatever they feel is narratively the correct choice for them. But using your best domain is absolutely a good call, because that highlights how your character is cool as you're preparing for this battle.
And also, as John says, since it's about advantages, if you were playing original recipe Agon, arts and oration, you could get an advantage. You can see how you could maneuver someone or trick someone using that, right? So any domain definitely works when you're trying to gain an advantage. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you, John. What were you going to say?
No, that's fine. I was going to jump into Augustus's maneuver here.
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, should I mention this, and you guys can help me? So I've never played the game before. I'm GMing it. I've GM'd original recipe Agon, but I'm BLOODSTROKE, I'm a little new to. This is a mythic foe. He is demon spawned, so he takes a D10 of mythic. He's a collector of trophies for a D8, and he's a hated thing of shadow, which is also a D8. He's a D8 epic. Now, according to the book, you must mark pathos or blood in the case of BLOODSTROKE to enter a contest against an epic foe. So do you need to mark blood right now?
I do. So this foe is so dangerous that merely contesting with it requires Augustus and the rest of us to push ourselves to our limits.
Yeah, and you should roll as well in advance.
Yeah, go ahead and give us your total.
So we know what our target is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of us
He needs his name die as well. He needs his name. So I add his name die, and I have Demon Spawn, Collector of Trophies, Hated Thing of Shadow. So there's a D10 for his name, D10 Mythic status, D8 for Collector of Trophies, and D8 for a Hated Thing of Shadow. And I don't think there are any other advantages for him. The one other thing that I will,
He doesn't need any. I don't think he needs any more advantages. I think we're good.
As a game master, and people comment on this often, I try to make it really, really hard, and then course correct later if I made it too hard. Okay, here we go. So I take my highest die and I add 5, right?
Yep.
But actually, yeah, I think that right now we can make it just a 5. The strife level is 5. So my highest die, you're welcome, guys, for how easy I'm making this, was a 10. I rolled a 10 on one of these D10s. So plus 5 means that you have to hit a 15 in the clash.
Just a 15, huh?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, did I do this wrong?
No. That's.
I want to. Sorry, go on, John.
No, you did fine. I'm currently rolling my name, which is a D6, and my steel. I'm choosing steel as my approach here. I'll talk about that maybe when I narrate, but that's a D8. So the highest I can roll right now, if I max my dice, is a 14. So if we want to get meta here, just since this is our first contest of the show, I could potentially say, well, I'm actually going to support another player instead. Maybe not lose here and not give the enemy another chance to grab that advantage die and maybe help someone else. I could take that option. I'm not going to do that though. Instead, I'm going to add one of my aspects to my roll, which in this case is where is it? I'm adding my corrupted aspect, which will give me a D4 to stack on top, which is the only chance I have to hit a 15. So I'm gonna take that. So I have my name, Augustus Bonneville. I have my class. I'm a gunhammer. That's another D6, and I'm using steel, which is a D8. And I'm activating my corrupted aspect. I think it's you like hold X, and it's like right for corrupted.
That's right.
So yeah. So I'm powering that up. So that's me for my steel maneuver, whatever that turns out to be. We'll find out when I narrate.
Okay.
Great. Oh, and another thing to mention, just to any viewers who are new, or just to remind our viewers, Agon is such an interesting system because you roll, then you narrate based on the roll, which, in a lot of other role-playing games, that's probably how it should go. Because how often in a role-playing game are you like, I do a giant flying back kick, spikes come out of my boots as I connect with his skull. You rolled a 1. Okay, I trip and I piss myself and I fall off the ledge.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that is Augustus Bonneville, and we'll reveal our roles in a moment. Alonia Burnbite, Flame Dancer. What are you bringing to the contest? Do you challenge the nemesis of the Necropolis?
Oh, man.
Or do you support another player? You could do that. If you're afraid Alonia, she's already hurting, she's lost a lot of blood, maybe you would support another player, or maybe you take this creature on.
Well, it's not in Alonia's nature to not take a creature on head first. Just not her style. So I still have some blood left, so I'm going to use it. I think I'm going to wait to support people until I don't have any blood left, just because I think that is what Alonia would do. So I am going to put in my D6 for my name. And I'm going to put in my D8 for my spirit, because she's gonna go head on for this god. And can I put in a D6 for my class, Flame Dancer?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course.
Throw some flame dancing into that narration later.
Throw some flame dancing into that. I think in the dark red of night, some flames can cause some sparks here. I spent the blood already to challenge this abomination.
Yes, thank you for using the correct term.
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing. And that's a 20 if I max it. Nope, it's 14 still.
It is still 14.
It's 14 because you take the top 2. So do you want to also spend a strength or one of your aspects in order to have a chance at defeating this thing?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great. Which one are you using?
I'm going to use, and this is my second time, but I'm going to use. No. I'm going to use Resolve, and I know
Resolve.
why. Okay. Resolve. Using Resolve.
Great. And I'll just remind our viewers that in Agon, so all of those dice she mentioned will get rolled in a pool. The top 2 dice will get added together to see her total. She's trying to beat the 15 that the monster rolled. But when you spend an aspect, these little things on the side of the center column there, arcane, corrupted, elemental, force, finesse, daring, things like that. When you spend those, you get a D4 to roll, and that D4 is added to your total no matter what. And that's important in this conflict because they cannot win without it, which was totally by design. I knew that I was doing that, and I'm glad I was able to showcase this part of the system on purpose. Lash, it's your turn.
Yes.
Do you challenge the nemesis of the Necropolis?
I, Lash, call out the spawn of Kalu, the wretch of the red hand, and I'll sport. So I'll talk about this a little bit. So right now, I'd have to spend blood. I'd have to mark an aspect just to have the sort of like chance of doing it. And also, the best pool that either Mary Lou or John can roll is a D6, a couple D6s and a D8, plus their 1D4 they're going to add on. But if I support, I can support with my domain. And so if I support with the shadow domain, I can give one of them a D8. That means they're rolling 2D8, and they have this chance, 2D8 plus the D6 plus the D4. Their chances of beating a 15 go up a lot, and I'm not spending blood or marking an aspect. Now, I'm not going to get this juicy glory. Lash is not going to be the winner of this contest, but I'm thinking long term about the rest of this contest and all the things we need. So I feel like there's a moment when Lash will come to Augustus Bonneville's aid, but this is not it. This is the time when she will aid Alonia Burnbright, and I believe, and we see in the video game that Lash just like hunkers down onto one knee, and she's doing a ritual which requires her summoning, so she can't actually take any action. But as she does it, we see the crosses spinning, and she's doing the summon darkness spell that brings in. And as he falls down from the moon, you see the moon is no longer there, and we are shrouded in darkness. And you have my D8 shadow die, Alonia. Did you get to add to your pool?
Yeah, and I gotta say, if there's someone that could probably see in a cloud of shadow, it's the person who is currently ignited in flame.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. First of all, excellently reasoned. That's the kind of logical play. Looking for advantages, looking for the best way to aid your fellow players that I really love to see, and I'm always incapable of myself. So thank you, Sean. And so let us have Mary Lou. Let's have Alonia roll her dice pool, and Augustus Bonneville, would you please roll your dice pools?
Oh yes, thank you. I will match you, John. There we go. I only have a little bit of red in the background, but that's
battle lighting.
That's my battle lighting.
Battle lights.
Oh yes,
Ow!
yes.
It sounds like Augustus did not need.
This is so crazy. So you aided Alonia with the shadow spell, but their reactions are making me think something different happened. We had a little
did not help.
Yeah. If it were original recipe Agon, we'd say the fates were intervening, the gods were intervening.
Yeah.
But in this case, we'll say Dracula's foul taint has somehow polluted this role. Let me ask you, Mary Lou, how did Alonia do?
All right. So your D8 actually did help me very much. I would not have even come close if it wasn't for your shadow D8.
Nice.
My two highest die were a 5 and an 8. So,
Okay.
All right. And then what was your D4 though?
What was your D4?
5 and 8 wouldn't.
1. Oh, brutal.
All right.
That is brutal. So Alonia, so close, but you do suffer in this conflict. Let's get both of the totals, and then I'll let you guys narrate. Augustus Bonneville,
So
how did you do?
So I currently have a 14.
Mhm.
I got 2 6s and a 2 on my aspect. However, losing here is going to give this creature a D10 advantage die against us going forward.
That's true. Yeah,
Which seems bad to me.
Mhm.
And the reason I said yes is because I kind of want to activate this mechanic and take one for the team, maybe.
Oh, wow.
It's still going to be a risk. It's still going to be a roll here, but I think I might try it. Because this guy having D10 against us is going to be so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Some
Are you
people
gonna
might say
work?
I way OP'd this creature. I disagree, and I'll answer all of you in the comments.
I mean, you're just creating the monster the way it was in the video game, and it's a really
Exactly.
tough
Yeah.
first mini boss.
Yeah.
It's just like
It is.
You have
A lot
to-
of
you
people
had to fight
complained
him
about that.
so many times before you got the pen out. So, John, are you going to invoke the mechanic of thirst?
I think so. I was going to save it maybe till the later part of this battle, but it's going to be bad if this monster has another D10. It's going to be so bad. It's already bad. So in this hack, there's a mechanic called there's blood and thirst. Your character can mark thirst instead of taking doom or blood, which is, we don't need to get into that, but it's another resource you have. You have a little chalice on your sheet with spaces for your blood thirst, because we're all kissed by the dark forces, by vampires. So I'm going to mark one on my thirst, which lets me act as if it's blood. So I can add in another domain, which I will do anyway. I mean, I don't need to, but I can. But it also gives me a point of strength or an aspect. So it'd be another D4 to add into my roll. So
That's awesome.
So yeah.
But even then, you need to roll a 2 or higher. So it's almost like a 50-50. Right?
Yeah, it kind of is. So I'm willing to take the chance and push myself by giving in to the thirst that dwells within us.
Right.
The downside is, while you have thirst marked, so long as you have any thirst marked, before you feed on and resolve that, you can't earn glory as a Ravensguard because you're in the throes of your vampiric nature. So I won't get any glory until I come out of this somehow. Feed on something. Maybe I can feed on this monster. That would be convenient. We'll see. if that works.
Seems healthy. That seems fine.
Little, like, blood pack icons in the.
That's right.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Here's my D4. It's a 1.
Oh, lovely. So tell me, John, can Mary Lou do this in this new mechanic? Since this is your thing, you're just making up, and we're probably adjudicating this for the very first time. Can Alonia do the same thing right now? Could she also mark thirst? And then she would be taking the highest of her 2 D4s, right? She'd be adding another aspect, taking the highest of the 2. So you could still roll another 1, and it could still bomb, but if you roll the 2.
Actually, she was at 14, so if she rolls a 1.
Well, I think you're at 14.
Oh, but yeah, you're right.
The D4
so I'm exactly the same.
You're right, Sean. You're right. Okay.
So you have to roll a 2 because it would replace the. You take the best of your 2 D4s, but
3 out of 4 chance. I think it's a good idea. Do you want to do it, Mary Lou?
I very much do. Absolutely.
Please, in your little goblet, mark one of your little goblet spaces, and then you can add
my home drawn goblet.
Yes.
My home drawn goblet.
So the only downside of this, Mary Lou, is that means that's 15 glory you're not going to get.
That's okay. I already have so much glory.
It's true.
I'm still way ahead of you guys, so it's
you're
fine.
personally glorious.
Why did I help you? Damn it.
Okay.
Here
it goes. Alonia does this for the team. She puts team on her back. She does not care about personal glory. She takes thirst and she rolls.
There it is.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
Someone persevered. Someone prevailed in this conflict. So we will start with actually, Lash, you supported. We kind of heard what you did. You kind of created a shadowy field. So everybody remember that the moon is blotted out. Total eclipse. Complete darkness holds sway. And now I will talk to Augustus Bonneville, who suffered in this conflict.
I did, yes. I like the idea, too, of Lash doing a ritual and then looking up, and her 2 companions both give into their bloodlust. And they're like, yeah.
That's pretty awesome, honestly. I feel like that was,
Yeah,
I
dude.
feel like that was scripted into the game. Like the only combo that worked is if like one person does because like Final Fantasy VII, the summon spells where like that's what Lash is doing, right? Like she's summoning the shadow around. Right? Like you got to do the summon spell plus 2 people activate Thirst. It's the only way.
Yeah. Right. It's the only way to beat the initial clash with the son of Kalu. Everybody knows that. It's in the strategy guide. Okay. Yes. Tell us what happens to Augustus Bonneville after he lets his vampiric nature take over.
So his eyes go fully red. The whites of his eyes, fill with the blood tinge. And I activated my corrupted trait and my gun hammer. So he flips the Crucifix, as we've been calling it, and makes it an inverted cross. And slams it down onto the rooftop, and it's a symbol, but it's not magic the way that Lash uses magic. It's technology, this weird technology that the Crucifix has inside it, this steampunk stuff, and it activates its magnetic function and starts tearing these iron crosses out of the roof. And the idea was to whirl them all around in a cage of iron cross shrapnel and debris that would then maybe be used against the foe. But as I fail, I think instead the abomination realizes the danger, leaps out of the center of the whirling iron crosses, and swats the Crucifix awry. Something inside it breaks. And the change of polarity causes all of the metal shards to come rushing and slam into Augustus instead, and send him flying off the rooftop down through into the Necropolis building. And there's a huge cloud of dust that flies out as he gets taken out.
That does happen, and I'm just going to add a couple little details. I think that when you have your vampiric nature activated and 100 crosses hit you like daggers, they're all like sizzling as they hit you, and you're like, ah! You fall down into the cavernous cathedral of the Necropolis, and you still earn 1 glory,
I would, but I'm in my thirst.
But you activated your thirst.
So I'm down among the bodies, pinned by holy crosses and slavering at the mouth. It's thirst for blood.
I could see the anime, all like 100 crosses in you, like.
I was just envisioning the Stormbringer scene where Elric summons all the Stormbringers to fight the gods of chaos, right? And you're summoning all these crosses to aid you, but they betray you instead.
That's so awesome. What a great cutscene. And now I ask you, the lady who prevailed, Alonia Burnbite, how do you prevail against this creature?
So I've seen this happen to Augustus. I've seen him try and stumble and suffer. And I say, okay, then this shall be simple. I will stand right here and let him come to me. And Lash has luckily given me this darkness enveloping us. And what does darkness do but make flame burn brighter? So my sword is unsheathed. It's burst into flame, and my eyes turn flame red. The flames reflecting in them, and I say, "Oh, I am getting a little hungry." And I use my spirit and my resolve, and I stand stock still, waiting for my opportunity. And when that monster comes just a little too close, I fencing stab him right in the eye.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like full conflagration. Its head is catching on fire.
I say I will have roast abomination for dinner tonight.
Excellently done. All of that does happen, and the thing kind of like falls backward into the hole that he threw Augustus Bonneville through. But the thing has like 6 arms, and some of them reach out and try to grab Alonia Burnbite. Alonia, normally you would get 15 glory, but unfortunately you had to activate your thirst. But what you did gain is the D10 advantage die, and that can be used in the next phase or the final phase of the conflict. Is that right, guys?
Yep,
that's right.
Okay, great.
And you can give it to anyone as well. If you can use it yourself, but you can give. He now has this conflagration, right? And you have that as an advantage. And you can, if you give it to one of us, you get a bond for it. If you use it for yourself, it's just a D10. You could definitely keep it, but it's yours.
I don't have any bonds yet, though.
Yours to get to use as you like.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So, yes, the thing is half blinded and its face is on fire, which vampires don't like. I mean, nobody likes that, but vampires especially don't like it. Here is what happens next. Next, we go into what is called the threat stage of the conflict. Everybody was maneuvering to kind of get into an advantageous place for this clash. Now the real fight truly begins, and you find out how the creature is threatening you and the village of Red Hand Mesa. And so what I'm going to rule is that the creature, first of all, threatens all three of our players with the fall. Not only does it try to grab at Alonia Burnbite, but it just smashes the ceiling open as it reels from her blow to its eye and just rips the ceiling asunder. The crosses did a lot of it already, actually, and everybody is falling down into the cathedral, into the necropolis. And the necropolis, you should know, is just kind of a sea of coffins. Like, there are coffins that piled up like mountains, piled up like towers everywhere. It's nothing but endless coffins in here, thrown willy-nilly. A lot of them popped open. And so you're falling down into this sea of coffins, and that's all of you. So that's the first threat that you must deal with. The second, that's for the whole party. The second threat that you must deal with is how it endangers the village itself, the entire world that you've come to save. And what I will tell you is that as you fall down, something is awakened inside of the coffins. And you see as they sort of start to crack open like eggs, and then parchment-like skin stretches, and you realize that the progeny of Kalu has also spawned progeny as carcass-feeding creatures start to burst forth out of all of the various bodies, tearing out. Oh, there are hundreds of them, and they will surely head to Red Hand Mesa Village and just devour all of the townsfolk if they are not somehow kept trapped in the necropolis. I think that those are the two threats that I will pose against you. In this phase, you can choose to either defend against one of those threats or get the advantage or decide how the final conflict will go by getting one up on our beastie, right? You can decide to take the conflict directly to it instead of defending against one of these things. Am I describing that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's you can think of it kind of like two nodes in the middle here. There's going on defense. I'm going to try to stop one of these bad things from happening as a protector of the village, or keeping us out of the bowels of the necropolis, whichever one. Or I'm going to go on the offensive and seize the finale stakes. So whoever wins the seizing contest will determine the outcome of the final phase. What the loser suffers. Are they destroyed? Are they driven off? Et cetera, et cetera. So
right.
It's really a role play question. Like, when the chips are down and everyone's in danger, do you jump up and defend? Are you Captain America? Do you start smashing Loki all over the place and you're Hulk? Which mode do you want to be in is kind of the main question there. And Jared, once again, is turning the dial up against us and giving us two things to defend against. So there's three of us, so we could strategize as players and say, okay, I'll defend this, you defend that. Someone else is going to seize. Or, and this is how we often play in our local games, you just role play. You just do what your character feels. No strategy. You just follow your character's heart and do what you want to do. Oh, thanks, Clint. Yeah, there's the
beautiful
sort of graphic version. We're in that middle greenish part of the battle now. So
either seize
you choose to seize or defend. That's how you make your pick.
Got it.
Excellent. So I should roll another attack for our friend.
Yeah,
for
you're
the
gonna.
Monster.
Yep, you're gonna give us a new target number for this phase, and
hopefully I roll a little lower. This guy's a really tough boss.
Yes, he
D10
is.
for the Nemesis of the Necropolis.
Not a 10, not a 10, not a 10, not a 10.
D10 for the fact that he is demon spawned. D8 for the fact that he is a collector of trophies. And D8 for the fact that he is a hated thing of shadow. I think earlier I said that he was both mythic and epic, but I am making a GM's call. Since we ignored that earlier, I'm going to continue to ignore it. I realize now what a bad mamma jamma I created. I basically am sending Orcus against a third level party. Everybody,
we got this. It's fine.
First off,
no, I know that you got it. I know that you got it.
We're down with this. We have bonds to spare. But it's true. If it was mythic and epic, then in addition to having to mark blood to enter that contest, we would have also had to mark an aspect just to enter the contest. Not even that we don't get to roll it. We just, that D4 we would have got, nope, poof, go away. You just have to spend it, which is all the more reason to support. But Jared, you could consider making them both epic and perilous, which means you have to mark blood to enter the contest, and you also mark blood again if you suffer in the contest. Just if you want to soften that up a little bit, like mythic is real bad, but perilous is, at least. What are you thinking?
I will totally take perilous and take more blood harm from falling through the ceiling. Yeah,
he is. No, that's a good point, Sean. He is perilous, and so it is perilous, and so. Poor Augustus Bonneville has taken blood harm from suffering in the last contest. And now the creature, which has 6 arms and is kind of like a great ape in the way it moves and reacts, it's fine. It's kind of like, it's enjoying the fall. It's trying to grab you guys out of midair as it falls, and it rolls. Okay, how did I do this time, everybody? How do you think I did? I take my highest die, and I think the strife is still 5. So this time, my highest die was an 8. So 13 is what you need to beat it. A little easier this time.
Doable.
So this is one of those contests where it's not really good for us to support each other, because if we want to win this contest outright, 2 of us would have to defend, and 1 of us would have to seize. Now, I'm not saying that's what we should do. I agree with John. I think we should just roleplay to whatever we want. But I'm ready to call my action with no consultation. If you all are ready to decide what you're going to do,
I think I know where my character's leaning. Also,
yes,
I know where my character's leaning.
Yep.
All right,
then let's start with Lash again. Then Lash,
right.
Let's go for it.
The High Priest of Kalu has been freed, and I cannot let him be fed on by these abominations. I will defend.
Nice,
great,
Amazing.
Great, and you are going to defend specifically against. The creatures that are hatching out of the putrid husks of corpses of millennia.
So this is one of those places where John and I were kind of like, let's leave the rules a little wiggly. And we purposely made it so that the players can kind of pick after the roll, because you haven't described your action yet, what you're defending against. Because it's very, like, if 2 of us defend and we both succeed, then we can kind of go, cool, I defend this threat, I defend that threat. But if 2 of us defend and only 1 of us succeed, then we might be like, one of these is really way worse, and so we're going to pick it. So the idea is not to penalize the players too much. Like, you have to strategize a little bit, but not too much. Like, okay, I defend against threat 1, you defend against threat 2. Oh, but wait, since threat 2 is really bad, maybe 2 of us should defend against threat 2. We just didn't want that much a sort of analysis paralysis. So I'm just generally defending, but yeah, you're probably right. I mean,
I love that. It also goes.
Protect people.
It synchronizes perfectly with the fact that you narrate afterward. Anyway, you narrate after you roll, and how many times in every game I've ever played do my players go, wait, can I go back and decide to do a completely different thing and roll a different action and have everything that you just narrated not happen? Can
I resist that? Oh wait,
but I like the idea that you can kind of dip a toe in, you can kind of go defend, and then wait to hear what happens, and then go, okay, I defended this. You know,
I'm slamming the box key.
Yeah.
I'm just slamming square over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Defend.
And defend you shall, and defend you shall, Lash. And now I ask Augustus Bonneville, what are you going to do? Defend or seize control?
I am in the throes of my bloodthirst. I'm not defending anybody. I am seizing an advantage. I'm seizing corpses out of coffins as my talons come out of my hands and ripping through bodies, hungry for any morsel of blood that may be there. You know, he's in full blood rage mode. Yeah.
I love a nice blood rage. Love a good blood rage. So Augustus Bonneville is going to seize. And Alonia Burnbite, will you seize or will you defend?
Without a doubt in my mind, I am seizing this moment. Normally, I care about townspeople. They're very nice. They're very cute. They are my friends. But I am in the throes of bloodlust. And honestly, the little voice in the back of my head says, if a couple townspeople died, then I can eat them.
Yes.
And I won't have to kill them. I'd just be, oh, no, they don't.
I mean, why let that blood go to waste?
Now.
This is amazing. So, I mean, the drama of this, of poor Lash, who's like, just like, you know, helping people, throwing up spells, and she just realizes both of her stalwart companions have transformed into the very thing that she fights. I mean, I can't wait to see how this Lash is now our POV character, I think.
Accidentally, but
well, draw upon the powers of darkness, y'all, and let's roll. Let's see how this goes. 13 is your target number, as the creature, tries to grab you out of midair and carry you off into one of the catacombs to feast upon your carcass.
We rolling the same pool as before? Or we
let me call on you each one at a time. Actually, you're right. Thank you very much, Mary Lou. We should go one at a time. And since you asked, why don't we start with you? What dice are you rolling, and then you can roll it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 6 for my name. 6 for my class. I'm gonna dance around this 8.
Yep. Sure.
Notably, we all have to mark blood to get into this contest too, because he's mythic. So we have to mark blood again. John, does that put Augustus in his doom again? And we'll have to again in the finale.
Okay.
In the finale.
So that happens repeatedly if an enemy is mythic or or epic or what have you. Okay.
John, is that putting Augustus into doom?
That my blood track is marked off completely. I have one thirst marked, and I'm about to head for doom.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad I was able to also show off the doom mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be spinning bonds instead. I think we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Cool.
Okay.
What else are you adding? Your name, your class.
Spirit for showing no fear in the face of this monster in his home.
Okay, great.
Turf. Maybe I might go a little meta here and talk to my partners here. Do we think it's worth it to use my D10 now? In that I'm maxed out max, I'm only 14. So if I roll a perfect roll, I can beat him. That's it. Is it worth it to roll my D10 now? I'm out of blood.
Well, you can always spend bonds to
spend bonds. Oh, that's right. I have a bond. We started with 1 bond each.
Yeah. Oh, you started with 1 bond with each of us. So
yes.
you should have so you can always spend bonds to pay costs instead of like, oh, I got to spend blood. You're okay.
Great.
And yeah, that's a good question. So if you win the seas, that means you get to decide. In fact, Jared, you get to pick the domain that we're fighting in right now.
Right. Yeah. Oh, so it might not be spirit,
it might not be spirit. Okay, then.
But if you win this contest, then you get to decide what the next, what the finale contest,
what the final domain is.
So you can say it's going to be a spirit.
Either my own or one of y'all's.
Exactly.
Yep.
So,
people would say this is a contest of steel, but I would disagree. I think that this is a contest of shadow. because you are entering a dark labyrinth of coffins. You're falling into a dark labyrinth of coffins. The thing moves so quickly that it attacks more with cunning than like coming straight at you. It comes from the side. It comes out of your peripheral vision like one of the creatures from A Quiet Place. And so I think it is a contest of cunning, dark magic, and stealth. And so I'm afraid this is a domain of shadow for this this threat phase of our battle.
Okay. Nice. So I'm taking out my D8 and I'm adding a D6 for my shadow. But Lash, that's you, right? So in the finale, it will be your domain.
Well, no, this conflict is shadow.
This one specifically.
Whoever wins the Seas contest, which I'm not in, I'm in the defend contest. Whoever wins the Seas contest gets to pick the domain for the finale. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Okay. If you win this, you can get
So by picking shadow, I'm once again just being a cheese sleaze off game master and really trying to stick it to you, Mary Lou.
I'm not complaining.
No, I know. I'm kind of proud of it, actually, perversely. So
Mary Lou, what you could do here, if you want to get the meta talk still,
sure,
you can spin that advantage die now is totally fine. Like I think that's perfectly reasonable. I mean, you're the one who stabbed it, so you might as well follow through.
Yeah, you should take it.
Right.
And if you want to spend blood, you could add your spirit D8 in as well. And
even if I don't have any blood left, it would just take me into doom.
It would take you into doom, or you could spend a bond.
Or I could spend a bond.
You could mark your second thirst instead.
Or mark
mark thirst. Yeah, you're already thirsty. I mean,
I'm already thirsty. Thirsty.
Which will also recharge one of your aspects. You'll get to.
Oh
yeah. You can go deeper down the rabbit hole.
Deeper down the thirst track.
Do you want to become even more vampiric? Or do you want to spend a bond instead of taking that initial blood cost to enter the combat with the mythic foe? Would you like to just kind of use some teamwork? Maybe even with the other guy that's going full blood leech. Maybe use teamwork with him.
Yep. I'm going to use my bond with Augustus.
Great.
Nice.
I'm going to use my bond with Augustus so that I can spend blood and
not take any more thirst.
Not take any more thirst.
Yeah, cool. I'm spending a bond with you so that we can we can have some synergy here. Yeah,
nice.
Together. Back to back.
So now with that blood, that second, spending that final blood that you didn't have to spend to enter by using the bond, you can now add the aspect of your spirit, right? Is that what you were going to do?
Yeah, adding the aspect of my spirit.
Okay, great. Let her rip, Alonia.
Here she goes.
Well, yeah.
And now let's go to Augustus Bonneville. And let him tell us how he's putting together his dice pool.
My name of my class, I'm gun hammering as usual. I'm using my bond with Alanya to absorb the threat of suffering blood from this foe. So we're sort of protecting each other in our bloodlust. Maybe I have an idea about that. Maybe I probably do too. But I'm still burning blood to add steel in because I need my D8 steel. And I'm spending my last corrupted to get my D4. I'm just going all in. On the C's here, and I'm gonna try to narrate some things to make the GM give me permission for some stuff. So
good luck, Harper.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll. I'm not gonna say what I got.
Yeah. So we could. Do we resolve the defend before the C's normally?
You can do it any way you like, but I like to. I think it's.
I think it makes sense.
On what feels right in the moment. Sometimes
I think it makes sense.
What's the next beat?
I really appreciate you guys going ahead and rolling, but I think I should resolve Lash's defend before we find out your dice pool results. Yeah. Okay, so keep that suspense going. John's roll looks like something maybe wonky happened, but now we're gonna go over to Sean.
To share it.
No, we can't see it. So I Lash will take my name die. The Blade Mage will open from my tome and summon an incantation. I'm fighting in a battle of shadow, my chosen domain, the thing that I learned from Dracul myself.
Yeah.
And I am bringing in my spectral aspect, which I will describe as well. So I'm rolling 2d6, name and epithet, and name and class rather, and a d8 for my domain, and a d4 for my aspect. I've rolled it all with Roll of Friends, and I wish I'd gotten in last contest because I have a 15. Thank you, Roll of Friends. It would have been enough.
Whoa! Holy
That's enough
shit!
to defend. I got a 6 and a 7 on my d8 and d6, and I got a 2 on my d4. I think I'm doing the math right. Yeah, that's that. So I successfully defend, and the way this looks like is as we see, and of course I'm choosing to fuck the fall. We all get trashed. We're all falling into the depths of this catacomb. He pulls us all down. Lash doesn't care about that. We're here. We're heroes. We're made of tougher stuff. We may be trapped here forever, but it's okay. But as all these abominations start breaking out, the victims, the souls that they once had call back to them, and they call back to them, and they remind these creatures of where they came from and their homes. And we see these horrific creatures as they're clawing their way out, and then they hear the voices of their own souls calling them back to the grave, putting the rest, and we see them start to dematerialize as they are finally put to rest. And we just see at the end of it all, Ash is sweating and the shadows are casting across her. But when we look back, we just see all these grave mounds of ash of these creatures that were pulled back by their own spirits, finally put to rest.
That was beautiful. And so the threat of the carcass feeders is ended, and these horrible wights are put to rest. The progeny of Kalu have been defeated. And now let's go over to our two players who were trying to seize control of the conflict.
And minor point, everybody, since these are two separate contests, I'm taking 13 glory for that because...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because I was the only one who participated in the defend contest. So
that's excellent.
And you're not thirsty.
And I'm not thirsty, yeah.
Okay, yes. Now let's go over to our two ravenous bloodsuckers who were trying to seize control of the conflict. Alonia Burnbite, how did you do?
I did not. How did I do? I didn't. My two highest die were 5 and 5, so that's 10.
10. So you will suffer in this conflict. Augustus Bonneville, what did you roll?
I got a 16.
Nice. Wow.
6 and a 7 on my D8 and a 3 on my D4. So I'm seizing the shit out of this one.
Nice.
Yeah. So I guess that means I go last. So
beautiful. Things are really kind of flipping back and forth now. You can see how all these little advantages, when you take them or don't take them, it really makes a difference. Yeah. You are out of blood, but you now suffer. You're supposed to take some blood because we decided that this guy is perilous, my friend Alonia. Yeah. And so if she's out of blood, what happens? We mark on the Doom track, right?
Either Doom, or if you want to spend your last bond with Lash, you could have Lash protect you from that perilous.
Now tell the viewers at home, not me, because I already know. Tell the viewers at home what happens when I'm in Doom.
Yeah. So normally when you would mark Agony and Agon, or Doom in this case, a normal human would have been taken out. Like, we see you suffer some horrible blow that we would think, no one could ever recover from. Mm-hmm. Only you will narrate in the next time you appear how you amazingly return from this. We suffer some horrible blow, but you also physically check mark that Doom box, and that is permanent. You'll never ever get it back. When your character's Doom box is filled, your story is over. Like that, you have retired. As you have become a vampire, you have been destroyed. That's it. Like everything else.
You guys created a health meter for campaigns.
Yes.
Yeah,
indeed. So
it's more hurtful than losing HP. Oh my god.
It's permanent HP. But there's an upshot to it. You also learn from your suffering. John, you've changed the agony track for the Doom. So you want to describe the marks on the Doom track?
Yeah, so you might notice that some of the Doom boxes have little black marks inside them.
Yeah.
On the sheet. I don't know if you copied those onto your.
Yeah, I did.
Scenario.
Yeah, I did.
So those are experience markers. So the first time you mark Doom, you gain experience. You gain a boon, like a level up, basically. It burns your character down permanently, but you've grown in your experience as a Ravensguard through this suffering, and you get to spin that. So you could advance your class die to a D8. You could advance one of your domains from a D8 to a D10. There's various things you can spend your XP on. So taking Doom is bad because it leads your character closer to destruction, but it's good because you level up and you get more powerful. So it's not all bad to take Doom, especially on a one shot.
Oh,
We got spiral.
I'm taking Doom, baby.
Doom, baby.
You better believe it.
I'm taking Doom. Absolutely. Give me that Doom.
Yeah.
Well, then I would love for you to narrate the kind of staggering, horrific blow that poor Alonia takes as she falls through the ceiling in full vampire bloodlust and tangles with the nemesis of the necropolis.
Well, as I'm falling, I'm windmilling, trying to catch my balance. And who else is windmilling but the nemesis? He catches my metal arm. No! And he yanks, and what happens? Pops right out of its socket. My metal arm is gone. Gone. Goodbye, metal arm. And now I'm a one-armed flame dancer.
Oh no!
That was so cool. Yes. Now, when the metal arm comes off, is it blood, or are there like circuits inside, or what's in there?
So yes, both. So the metal arm has it's a metal like a ball and socket, just like how our arm would go into the shoulder. So the ball is metal, but the socket is blood and bone, or the thick congealed molasses blood of a vampire.
Yeah.
And so it pops out, and there's little metal screws sticking out, but also barbecue sauce blood.
Thick barbecue sauce comes out of a perfect description. Thank you, Mary Lou. That is a staggering blow. How does Alonia Burnbite ever come back from that? We'll find out.
I'll tell you, I've lost this arm before.
That happens all the time. Nicely done. Okay, so normally you would get one glory, but you are still in the throes of your bloodlust,
right.
your thirst. Remember to feed on someone if you ever want that glory to come back to you soon.
Right.
But you have already earned a level up, which is kind of cool by going into your Doom track. Now I turn to Augustus Bonneville, the hunter that prevailed in this threat conflict. Augustus, what do you do?
So we've all fallen down. The beast has taken out its vengeance in the air against Alonia, and we've got the slow motion of the arm coming off, and everyone crashing down into the graves. We spent bonds with each other in the game mechanics, so I think we crash down, and when Augustus comes out in the midst of all these coffins and this crazy bloodlust, he also smells Alonia's horrible injury and is overcome for a moment and immediately seizes, and they grapple for a moment together and sort of roll out of the way, I think, as the beast starts flailing and smashing like a Bloodborne villain.
Right.
But Alonia is able to hold Augustus for a moment, and so he comes back to himself and realizes, that
with my one arm,
this is his. Yeah, exactly. just like by the neck, maybe. Yeah. To realize this is his fellow Ravensguard. What are you doing? What madness has taken you? So to seize the advantage going into the finale here and determine the domain of combat. I'm going to kind of follow through on what I said before, where he instead turns to some other choice to satiate this blood. And Mary Lou, do you think since we're bonded here in this moment together,
Definitely.
I'm about to try to like weasel some stuff from Jared to get us out of our thirst. Are you interested in that, or do you want to stay in the thirst mode? Or are you?
I'm ready to weasel.
Okay, cool. So since I won the contest, Strife player,
I'm
I'd
listening.
like to the broken crucifix that the monster smashed before I made the magnetism go all awry. Augustus looks at it and realizes in this moment of clarity with Elonia, wait, blood has iron in it. This isn't just damaged, it's recalibrated for blood. And so he like sets it to maximum power, so the gunhammer is like gonna self-destruct basically, and draw all the tiny remnants of blood from these thousands of 100-year-old corpses into our bodies, to snap us out of our bloodlust, but carry the fight into this pseudo mystical blood realm or something where we have to, fight the monster in the blood dimension.
The blood dimension, of course.
Sure, the blood dimension. Great, okay.
You know what I mean.
It's the sub level of the game. Yeah.
Right. This is like the pressing down on the right tube in Mario, right? Like
amazing. Absolutely approved. GM approves. And so suddenly, again, I think some bullet time, all these like little like spherical globules, fill the air, and then they just start they smash against Augustus and against Elonia. They're covering you guys. The crucifix is humming and shaking and the thing is like trying to get to you, but it's like slipping and like suddenly it's The Shining, rivers of blood. You know what I mean? Or like pouring out of the sides of the walls. It's kind of slipping, and it itself is also covered in blood. And then suddenly, it goes super animated. There's so much blood that nobody can even see what's happening on screen. And then suddenly, we're all in the blood realm. Yeah, we're floating around.
Just flowing blood at the camera. Just, and then...
Yeah. And so this conflict has entered the blood realm. Perhaps it's connected to the vessels in some way. Only Augustus knows. Augustus has taken us there by crossing the streams, so to speak, with the crucifix. So Augustus, you seized control, and you can decide the final domain of this conflict.
Yes. So
did he cross the streams of blood?
Yes, on the stream of blood.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry,
I liked all of that.
I think as part of my weaseling, I think Elonia and Augustus get to uncheck their thirst, where our thirst bubbles are once again available to us. And since I'm not in thirst, I think I get 13 glory.
Oh shit! Very clever. So you went ahead and unthirsted yourself right before the glory score hits, and so yes, you do get 13 glory. Please take it.
Nice. Does that mean I get one, or did mine happen beforehand?
I think.
Oh no, I failed.
It's the same roll. I think you should get your one, right?
I mean, you should get your one.
Yeah.
Even though I failed.
You still get one.
Yeah, well, you always get one glory when you fail. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Nice, nicely
done. So the domain I'm choosing is a little not selfish, unlike the rest of my everything I said. Now that we're in the blood dimension, I'm gonna say spirit is what we need, because I think Elonia is well positioned as the character in the blood dimension to do some good work for us. And since the crucifix is destroyed, I don't want to make it steel because I won't be able to use my gun hammer in combat. I want to figure out another way to invoke that trait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that makes sense. And so we've entered the third and final phase of the battle, and the finale. And the finale will ultimately decide whether the poor community of Red Hand Village in Red Hand Mesa is forever haunted and plagued by these awful blood-draining creatures, or whether perhaps you guys free them once and for all, which is, that is the mission of the Ravensguard, to free all of these, the remnants of humanity scattered across the vast multiverse, to free them from the yoke of Dracula's mastery. And so, according to the rules, I just want to set the stakes here because this is really huge. I was reading in the rules that if you win the finale and you won to seize, then you can get like the best ending. But if you only win the seize but not the finale, then you get the sad, bad ending to the game, right?
Yeah.
So this is a really important part of the conflict, and unlike another role-playing game where you kind of fight to see if you take down the enemy's health meter or whatever, right now this final set of rolls is going to kind of decide the ending of the story, so to speak. I mean, there might be another final contest afterward, to kind of help us with a coda, but right now this is the big fight. And so you have chosen. Yes, go ahead.
I also want to just sort of highlight the fact that John chose spirit rather than steel. Not only that this is helping Alonia, but also it means the nature of this contest is different. This is not a contest of ripping each other apart, right? I feel like, and John, you chose this. You tell me if this is true. I feel like this is a contest of like connecting to the vessels, like channeling Dracula's power to overwhelm us, or us cutting him off from the multiverse, like trapping him in the blood dimension or something like that. Like ultimately, because spirit is resolve, presence, arcane power, right? Like someone is going to like become the master of this domain of blood, at the end of this contest. Will it be one of us, or will it be, the spawn of Kalu? I don't know.
No, I think that's a really important point, Sean. Like picking the domain is a min-maxer's thing to pick something that you're good at, but it also curtails what we're allowed to say. If we go to staking guys in the traditional manner of vampire movies or whatever, maybe wily Strife player Jared later down the road will say, well, they, someone unstaked them, they've returned once again, and there's all kinds of stuff. But maybe in the realm of spirit, these kind of creatures can be destroyed once and for all, and who knows? But it's not just picking a die on my sheet. It is picking a kind of narrative space that we have to talk about now. That might change the stakes.
I love it, and I will tell you that the creature, the spawn of Kalu, is here for a contest of spirit. Mm-hmm. And so it brings its name as the nemesis of the necropolis. It brings that it is demon spawned, another D10. It is mythic as well, so please go ahead and mark blood one more time to enter this conflict.
Yes, we are. Technically epic is the term, but yes.
Thank you. Sorry. I have it as yes, epic. Thank you. And then it's also perilous. So if you suffer, you'll mark blood again. It's going to take its D8 as a collector of trophies, and I'll tell you how it's doing that. And it's D8 as a hated thing of shadow. And as a collector of trophies, a lot of those bodies it had created that were buried in the necropolis, which is why it had power over them. But now that it is in the blood realm, and it finally has all the blood it could ever want, it's going to take the ultimate trophy. It is gluttony personified. And as I roll, it just starts to try to suck in all the blood in the entire blood realm. It's swelling up like an enormous tick, just like, and all of us are composed of blood in the blood realm, so it may even devour you. Here we go.
We're all made of blood.
We're all made of blood in the blood realm. You know what I'm talking about, guys. Once again, Strafe level 5. Your target number is a 13. A 13.
All right, doable. All right, so but point of business, point of bookkeeping. That marking blood to enter the contest against this epic foe put me into doom. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it did further doom you, Alonia, or if you're still cool.
I think I'm gonna use my last bond.
Okay, cool.
Lash to burn that.
That's great. And Sean can talk about Lash's defense there. But that means both of us have marked Doom, our first Doom box of our set, and we both get an advance, a boon we call it.
Mhm.
So I'm choosing that we have several things to pick as our advance here, but I'm going to choose increasing my class to D8.
Ooh, so you can take your
'Cause I
advance
think-
instantly.
You can take it instantly,
Oh,
or you
that's
can
fun.
save it. You can save it and spend it in any moment. But I'm raising my gunhammer to D8, even though we're not having a battle of steel here. I'm gonna try to figure out a way that I can use my gunhammer without my weapon.
Mhm.
So if you want to do that, Mary Lou, you could raise your class to D8, or you could raise in your
My domain.
your D8 domain to a D10. So
That's what I think I'm gonna do. Since we're in the blood realm, that's my domain. I think, I'm gonna use my doom learning. And Alonia, she is a spirit. That is what she is. She is a flame. So I'm gonna replace my D8 with a D10.
Nice.
So she is burning very bright. Oh, here's the Agon sheet if people want to see what original recipe looks like.
Yeah. If you look,
in the lower corner there, Clint, there's the things you can buy with your advances. Some things cost 2, some things cost 1.
Oh, great.
So that's the little menu that we're shopping from there.
Cool.
And just one other thing. I mean, I just have to say it because I just want people to know these games are designed so that the character sheet sort of just shows you the rules. And it's kind of weird to me that role-playing games had to exist for 40 years before people decided to do that. But I'm glad that it's finally happening now. It makes them easier to play, and that makes them more fun. All right, so that's great. So it's a contest of spirit, and so I will now call on each of you to put your dice pool together, and I will end with Alonia, who's burning bright here in a realm of metaphysics, of thought and emotion, where we all form like blood-like, corpuses instead of flesh and bone. She's burning bright. She's glowing. Her heart, you can see her heart, boom, 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 going inside of her chest. But I will start with a creature of shadow and steel, sharp little pointy steel things. Our blade mage, Lash. What pool are you putting together?
All right, so I'm going to. If you felt like what John was doing earlier was dice shenanigans, you're going to cry when you see these dice shenanigans. So I have a lot of blood. I haven't spent very much, so I'm going to spend 1 blood to enter this contest because Lash will be in this contest. I'm also going to spend another blood to bring in my shadow to this contest, but I can do this for multiple domains. So I'm going to spend another blood to bring in my steel and another blood to bring in my spirit, to bring in my sense as well. And then that's going to mark me into Doom, and I'm going to use Doom to raise my shadow to D10. Which is a completely character catastrophic stupid thing to do. But it is literally me just being like
No, I mean, come on. I was like, well, you can't go more over the topness than we already have. And Sean actually figured out how to over the top our over the topness.
Yes.
Lash. Roll that beautiful, insano dice pool.
Oh, and of course, this is we will describe more, but this is I'm going to be bringing in the influence aspect as Lash removes the eye patch. We'll describe what happens after the roll, but all right.
Okay,
so let me put that giant stupid pool together, and
put that pool together, and then I will turn to someone who has a hard job, Augustus Bonneville. How can he be a gunhammer without his gunhammer? Tell us, Augustus. Have you figured it out?
I am Augustus Bonneville. That's my name. I have my D6. I have my D6 spirit. It's not my best thing. I am burning blood to bring in another domain, which I'm out of, so I have to mark Doom. I could mark Thirst, but I want the glory.
Yes.
So I'm going to bring in my steel into this, and I am burning my my alchemical aspect as well to get a D4 in here. And so my gun hammer, I am gonna take it. I think I've got it figured out. I've just recently raised it to a D8, so I'm gonna add my gun hammer class while we're in the blood dimension. While I'm unarmed, it's gonna be some bullshit, but it's gonna be great. So there we go.
I can't wait to see the bullshit. And finally, tell me about how Alonia Burning Bright. How does she enter this conflict?
Ilonia Burning Bright, that is her name. She rolls a d6 for that. She is dancing in the flames. You can still dance with one arm. She still has her flaming sword in the one good arm. So I'm rolling a d6 for my flame dancer. I've got a d10 for my spirit. That is my domain, and I've got a D10 that I earned in that first round.
Oh, right. Damn, you haven't used that yet.
Haven't used it yet.
Nice.
Based on good advice that I so wisely took from my friends. So I'm rolling 2 D10s and 2 D6s, hoping to beat a 13.
That sounds like pretty good odds.
I don't know.
I will just tell you this, Alonia. If you want to get the glory, you're going to have to roll higher than that. Even.
Okay. Okay. So I've burned my 2 bonds, and I have no blood left.
Do you want to activate an aspect? Do you have any aspects?
Yeah, you should definitely. If you have an aspect to spare,
I do. I have one more elemental. My element of flame.
Of course.
Right. That makes sense. Perfect.
Okay. And that's remind me, what is aspect? That's
An
D4
extra
on the end?
D4. An extra D4 for you.
Adds on the top.
Amazing. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, as you guys feel the black hole of the creature, this sort of dark star drawing into all the blood mass in this spirit realm, drawing you in, you roll, and let me ask, Lash, how did you do?
I want to make sure everyone's rolled. I got a 17 with
nice.
a 10 on my D10, a 5 on my D6, and a 2.
Nice.
That's why I was saying, because as soon as I did it, I rolled. That's what I was telling you earlier. Throw everything you got at it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, John's dying.
It's really, really fun to just mark off everything in one finale.
That's really
the
is.
Most fun.
I was just like throw everything at. Yeah. And that was only possible because I marked. John, how did Augustus do?
Sorry, I dropped
You've
a
got
D4.
A floor dice.
I dropped a D4 on the floor, which is like super dangerous. You got to kick that up. That's trouble.
That is trouble.
I got a 14. I got a 14.
14, okay.
Still
prevailing, but Lash is perhaps leading this finale. And so, Alonia, how did you do?
Yeah.
One of my D10s, I rolled a 1.
Oh no!
But one of my D10s, I rolled a 7.
Okay.
And one of my D6s rolled a 6.
Okay.
And my D4 rolled a 2.
Okay. I was like, did you take it? Are you claiming?
I did not take it.
Okay.
Yes, I think that puts you at 15, right?
15.
Yes.
Okay, so we will start. Everybody prevailed. Everybody defeated the thing. We'll start with Augustus Bonneville. Augustus, you earn half of the glory for this, so you earn 7 glory, and
7.
You can tell me what it is you did. How did you create a gun hammer out of nowhere? Sell me on that bullshit, buddy.
So the Crucifix destroyed itself in its final act of blood magnetism to propel us into this dimension. And I activated my alchemical aspect because what we see is there's the blood dimension is this sphere of whirling blood and globules all around us. The stage in the video game switches from Lash's shadow graphic that just kind of spins to like a color shifted red version of that spins around us.
There's a few faces that go over.
We've got other levels to build. We can't.
We can't do backgrounds. That's a lot. But all of that sphere coalesces to a point, and it's reaching backwards, like the tail of a balloon, back into the real world, back to the Crucifix in the real world, in its death throes, its engines, its mechanisms and batteries all dying in maintaining this blood dimension. But Augustus, because of his intense alchemical aspects, is soaked in experimental drugs and chemicals that he's tested on himself. He's mixed grave powders and injected them, and over the years, I mean, you see his character art, right? He's gone through all these scarification rituals and imprinting himself with alchemical substances. And one of the experiments that he tried to do was to infuse his blood with gunpowder, and make of himself a weapon.
Make himself the gun hammer.
Yeah. So he does the move. He does like the outstretched arms maneuver. And in the game, it's really hokey. The character like spins around, so he's shooting out of his feet, which is like really silly. But that's what they went with. And he turns his own blood in the blood dimension into a projectile and detonates blood gunpowder out of his body at the foe.
I mean, amazing. And so this enormous blood bullet enters the thing's mouth because it's trying to devour all the blood, and then you just see one side of its face just like pop open, and now it's like hemorrhaging all the blood it was trying to suck in, and then you earn those 7 glory, my friend Augustus, for that. Boy, I don't know if that was bullshit. That felt like I needed to see that, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I saw little barrels come out of your boots and fire. And so now, Alonia Burnbright, tell me how you prevailed in this conflict of spirit.
Well, I have my one arm, but I can still dance. And we're in, the sphere. And have you ever seen those motorcycles that ride in metal cages? I am leaping, jeting, running, spinning all around until I whoosh, wrap around his neck with my legs, just squeezing his neck. I take my flaming sword and I pierce the tick. It's all engorged in blood, and my flaming sword, I stab him right in the belly. It cauterizes the wound instantly, and he's hemorrhaging blood from another wound. So he's exploding from 2 wounds at once now.
Beautiful. I mean, beautiful execution. The judges all hold up 10s. The blood gods, they're off in some far realm watching this,
the blood also, roses rain in onto the stage.
Yes. They created out of your own sort of mental projection in this realm. The roses rain down, and you earn 6 glory.
7.
But now we turn to the character that went. Who went there? Who crossed off all the boxes?
I literally
rolled all the dice.
I literally mashed all the buttons. I was literally give me all. This is my button. Yeah. So I believe this has been some time now, but I believe you spent a bond. You spent your bond with Lash to defend you from taking blood. And when that happened, another whirlwind of blades came around to stop the blood daggers from Alonia. But then Lash disappeared, and Lash was off screen for a while, much like we saw Augustus Bonneville, previously, in the sniper position. And we have a little cutscene. This is where Lash cutscene, and we see Lash in front of some shadowy figure who we know is Dracula, but we don't get to see him yet because we're not that far in the level. And he says, and we just hear the subtitle of it. We see the subtitle of his voice. We don't actually get to even hear his voice yet because we haven't hired a good enough voice actor yet. But it says, even though you defy me, I will leave you with one gift. And then we see Lash pull down her eye patch. And now we cut back. We see her return, and she reveals the eye patch, and it looks like it is one of Dracula's eyes, as one of his eyes. It's all made of blood, and it's all this. It's not like it turned red. It's like a completely red. It's orb of blood. And as Augustus has blown a big hole with his gunpowder, and as Elonia has stabbed it and all his blood is coursing out, we know this blood would eventually just reform in the blood dimension, but not with Dracul's influence. It actually all channels into Lash's eye, and we see all the blood from all the wounds go in and in and in, and eventually just the creature like shrivels up into a husk as all it has been exsanguinated, and all the blood pours into Lash's one eye.
That's incredible. A whirlwind, a twister of blood goes up into the eye, and you can take 13 glory.
I will take that 13.
Not only that, I'm going to go you one farther, Lash. I think that you don't just suck in the blood monster, you suck in the entire blood dimension, and now there's a dimension inside of your eye.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clint. Thank you, Jared. I did not want to go. Yes.
Now, yes, the blood dimension is now canonically inside Lash's eye. Please turn that into a little video where I say that, and then send it to my mom.
It's also Dracula's eye, right? So it's who are really serving here?
Who are we
right?
really?
I mean,
is it the ends justify the means?
That's the question all the Bloodstroke games really ask.
Lash is the big bad in Bloodstroke 3.
True.
She turns at the end of the game. Bloodstroke 3, she becomes the big BG.
Spoilers.
You guys prevailed. No, you prevailed, and you find yourself in the like completely shattered confines of the necropolis. All the coffins are all burst open. It's just kind of a sea of rotting wood and desiccated, mummified remains. There's no more blood anywhere because somehow you absorbed it all of you. Everything is bone dry here. There's not even any excess moisture has been absorbed by our party.
It's really dry. Like Red Plains. It's really dry.
Yeah, and for vampires, you all have like really kind of nice moisturized skin right now.
Yeah, we look incredible.
Yeah, you're looking really good.
We attract wildlife. They're attracted to us.
When you burst out of the blood dimension, you hear far off in the night somewhere a scream, the howl of a man. It sounds like a young man. No! And you hear the final cry of his progeny coming from Lash's eye. And you realize that Prince Kalu is probably still out there somewhere. And his creature, his progeny was probably the bigger threat. But you must decide, do you think that this place is safe? Because you won the Seas contest and you won the finale, you can kind of decide the fate of this place a little bit, you guys. I mean, or do you think that the threat of Prince Kalu must be dealt with as well?
Oh, there is no way Alonia's leaving with that, with the red hand, the ripper of Red Mesa still alive.
Yeah, I think we've won the day and saved the realm. I think Kalu has to go into hiding. I think he's gonna we're gonna have to hunt him down through the vessels.
Now he's lost his wife. He's lost his child. We're on to him.
Yeah,
destruction is imminent.
Yeah, I feel like this is the level where you think you can fight him, but you can't actually fight him because you actually had to fight like the first boss, and then in the next in the next game you can actually find him in his true realm where he's gone hiding.
I think you're right, Sean, and because you were the winner of that finale contest, here is what I will narrate. The game acts like you're going to play a whole other level, and you go into the palace, and like you can walk around for a long time, and there's like rooms where there's not really a lot of things in there except like pots you can break and stuff, and you're kind of like, wow, there must be like really something cool about to happen in here. But then when you finally get through the giant painting of Prince Kalu and into this room, which is just tons of statues of Kalu and like other like paintings of him and stuff like that. Yes, there he is, the evil Prince Kalu. You see him and the corpse puzzle that escaped here standing on a platform, and you immediately hit your controller to go kill it, get him, kill it, fucking get him. And he goes, all of a sudden everything freezes, and you're like, why won't my character move? And he goes, and jumps through into a vessel and off through the multiverse, and you must follow him and try to defeat him another
Sorry,
day.
your vampire prince is in another castle.
Oh,
right.
Lou, your expression was just such indignance.
Rude. Rude.
That's why role-playing games are better than video games, you guys. That kind of shit doesn't happen. The GM has to go, okay, I guess you fight him, but in a video game, they can just cheese you off like that. And so our heroes can head back to their sort of headquarters level where they level up and can choose new weapon loadouts and things like that. And not only that, but in one part of that sort of headquarters level inside the vessels, there are these orbs, and when you look into them, you can see the worlds you've already visited. And one of them is level 1, Red Hand Mesa, and you can see that the priests of Kalu, they have got rid of their black robes and are now wearing white robes. And they are standing at their temple, and the people are praising them, and rain is falling on the dusty confines of Red Hand Mesa for the first time in a long time. And you have won the day, and you have saved the people. Congratulations, Ravensguard!
Nice.
Love it. I like the idea that all the other realms are like covered in blood, and this is the only one that's not now like in the little like view screen. It's now nice and pristine,
shining in
yes.
So
at a certain point, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Since we have a little time, and it's fitting with the video game, we did not defeat the evil prince, but we did clear stage 1-1 of Bloodstroke 2. And in Agon and in this hack, your characters earn achievements, which you get to write out based on what your character did. Mm-hmm. And they act as a resource, an advantage die in future adventures. You can be like, I did this thing before, I get my D10 now in this contest. You can like check them off to use them for powerful things.
Oh, that's awesome. They can be like artifacts or items that you found.
They can be trophies, friends.
Yeah.
They can be a statement like I'm the champion of the arena, or whatever you feel is your character's achievement. And in this case, of course, we'll all remember the Bloodstroke 2 achievements. It was a PlayStation 1 game before achievements were invented, but I think in the Xbox remaster, they added achievements in. So we'll just all think of our favorite ones from when we played the remaster on the Xbox. And
while you're thinking a little bit, can I ask a question? I want to ask a question about GMing Agon or Bloodstroke, a hack or any hack of Agon. So there were several times where you said, "Oh man, I want to use my Gunhammer class, but I'm not sure if What if I was with a player and they weren't really kind of incorporating their class into their description? Can the GM? First of all, GMs should never say no. So this is kind of a dumb question, but is there any kind of push-pull like that the GM might bring to bear? What do you think?
I think it's a case of that. Something we talk about in the book is the sort of 3 Strife player things you do. We tried to like really condense GMing down to just 3 things. And they're ask, reveal, and judge. So you ask questions of the players, like where are you going? What are you doing? You also ask them stuff like, how does it make you feel when they say that to you? Or are you going to put up with that? And those kind of leading questions.
Asking leading questions.
You reveal by saying like, oh, this person totally lies to you and you fall for it. And is that cool with you? Is that everything's fine? And they go, no. We see through their lies. You share rather than withhold information, right? That's that's a good GM job. And then you judge the outcome of contests, you judge the systems of the game. So in this case, I think it's ask and judge that go together. You when the character says their narration, you judge the mechanics, and after the roll, you go, okay, you prevailed or you suffered or whatever. And then maybe you ask like, oh, you said you were using your blade mage, what part of what does that look like when you attack the guy? And they go, oh right, yeah, I forgot that I said that. So and they can add it on. So it's more of that sort of like back and forth thing instead of what we find in some certain types of role-playing games. There's a lot of permission seeking. You know, is it, hey GM, is it am I allowed to use my X or Y or whatever? And which is fine in its time and its place, but when playing with adults, you know, I don't want to be anyone's sort of parental figure at the game table. Like I'd rather kind of just work together on the project and not seek someone else's approval, you know? So that's the way we tackled it, was to kind of, whoever is most curious, which is often the Strife player, asks the question to sort of draw it out. And if you have a player that just is like not feeling it and is like, gosh, I don't know, I said that, but I'm drawing a blank, you have 3 other people there to help and
to throw out ideas.
And throw out ideas and suggest things. And
well, I love it. And I think that, you know, I always say role-playing game books, when they are well written, they just give you kind of rules for every role-playing game. So asking questions is something that I could do more in every role-playing game. And as a GM, it's very easy to forget that sometimes, because I think you think, oh, I have to entertain everybody, and maybe they can do it themselves. And then something that I already have kind of just pulled from Blades and a couple other games is, when the character succeeds, or maybe even when they fail, just have them tell you what happened, you know? That really ends like the kind of push-pull of like, well, but you did trip. Well, but I wouldn't have, though, because I have 3 legs. Well, but so, you know, they just tell you how they failed or succeeded, and you get surprised, which is kind of a cool thing for a GM. Let's talk about our...
I think people have seen that in this stream, that there's a certain amount of relish when you fail, and then now it's your turn, and you can be like, oh yeah, he tears my arm off, or I fall into the pit, and it's super fun to describe that stuff happening to your own character. There's something really like gritty and visceral about it.
No, I loved the arm getting ripped off. It's so cool. I could see that moment, and it's so much cooler than maybe, you know, anything I would have come up with on the fly at that moment.
Nice callback to BLOODSTROKE 1, you know.
So where we see it the organic arm get lost. Okay, and so what's your achievement? Mary Lou? What did Alonia Burnbite? What's the achievement you want to mark for her?
Well, speaking of arms, I think when we go back to our headquarters, because we won, I have, you know, the new option. I have new armor available. I have new weapons available, and it's a new arm. And this arm is gold.
Oh, nice. They just changed the color slightly.
Yeah, this arm is gold, but it's also like flame proof, poison proof, you know, bite proof. It's an extra tough, extra sick looking arm.
It's an upgraded arm for sure. Yeah, totally. I mean, this is like the upgrade. The arm upgrade.
Hugely upgraded.
Right. Achievement unlocked. Extra sick arm.
Extra friggin' sick golden arm. That's my achievement.
Who's got my golden arm? Do you guys know that ghost story? Really cool. Golden arm. And so Augustus Bonneville, what achievement did you unlock?
Mine is it's in quotes. It's like quoting a character when you unlock it. Achievement unlocked. Quote, I am the gun hammer. And you can use that in future contests.
He doesn't have a gun hammer. He is the gun hammer.
I was going to say, you have to have gunpowder blood in there, and that is perfect.
That's his combo breaker. He's a transformer, and he turns into a big gun. He's a guy that has a giant gun and sometimes turns into a giant gun. Awesome. And Sean, what about Lash?
Oh, mine. I feel like I was already like thinking that it was going to be like, oh, I freed the High Priest of Kalu, right? Like that was going to be my big achievement. I was going to be like, yeah, that's cool. I have like this one NPC that, you know, cares about me, but I feel like it has been eclipsed by the blood dimension in her eye, and that is my achievement. I mean, it's hard to top a blood dimension in her eye.
That's right. Blood dimension in your eye. And I would love to see how that would come back later. But I mean, so this is a really, really cool mechanic, this picking your own achievements, because they're kind of like little, magic items and superpowers that you design for yourself based on the events in the game. So I kind of really, really love that.
We found, especially in normal Agon, that there's a kind of character history too when you're writing him in that sort of Greek epic form. After you've done 4 or 5 islands, you can look back and be like, oh yeah, right, defeated the giant serpent and was the great poet at the oratory contest, and you kind of see this odyssey develop.
That's really cool, and you can look for Agon again on this channel. I think we have to play a little bit of original recipe. Maybe we can even get a little campaign going at some point. Thank you guys so much for being here, for sharing your game with us, for hacking it for us, and all 3 of you for just bringing it so hard to Bloodstroke 2: Sagas of the Ravensguard.
It's my favorite PS1 game.
Yeah, it was so awesome playing with you guys. I haven't played Agon in a bit, and this was an absolute delight, and just amazing, John. I'm not surprised having worked with you for so long, but I still am shocked when you're just like, yeah, I just made this. We bullshit about it on Twitter for 15 minutes and oh, here's the game. And
I love that you guys kind of joked yourself into actually doing it.
We did.
Yeah,
which I love.
We were sort of playing
that nobody lost. We all won.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Are you gonna? Well, if you're good, I'm gonna.
I mean, if you'll stream it, I'll make it. Yeah.
And we have to do that again. We have to kind of trick/dare John and Sean into coming back with a hack of their game or play another one of their games. Guys, thank you so much. Look for more of John and Sean on our channel, and Mary Lou, we want you back as soon as we possibly can have you. You guys are awesome. I'm going to say goodbye for right now. Mary Lou, John Harper, and Sean Nittner.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. To be continued. Game over. Save game. Save game. That's a good way to leave that. Guys, my hair is getting super helmet-like, so that means it's time for me to go to bed and get it all messy again. I want to say thank you to our viewers as well for being here tonight and checking out Taste of Blood, where we want to keep giving you new games to check out. Yes, we're saving the game. Save game, everybody. We want to keep showing you new things that you can look into in your tabletop role-playing game hobby. I know we have a bunch of hardcore fans who come and chat with us on the Discord. This is one that we think you should check out. So we're so happy we could present it for you. I want to thank everyone who helped us make this stream. Brian Bollinger and Clinton Trucks, my producers and partners. Megan Arch, my social media manager. Matt Moynihan, our YouTube content producer. Jill Petracek, our art director. Guys, thank you so much for helping us. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us on all the socials and say hi to us on Discord. Until next time, I have been Jared Logan, and I am turning off the PlayStation. What? Clinton Trucks, can I help you?
I think we've got some bigger scheduling stuff we should run people through before we disappear. You think?
No, we're done. Turn it off.
Okay.
It's over.
Goodbye, everybody.
Wait, Clint, what scheduling stuff should we talk about?
I'm pretty excited about our next 3 weeks of Taste of Blood.
Oh, that's right. We mentioned it a little bit, but we should mention it again. London Carlisle will be taking over the next 3 weeks of Taste of Blood, doing a... can I announce what he's doing?
Do it, because he also gave it a great name, which I'm excited to tell people about.
Oh, no, you should do it if you know the great name. Go ahead.
I'm going to do... I love to write blocks of text for you that sometimes you read and sometimes you don't. Guys, this is what Jared would have said. Get ready. Stream of Blood is taking a trip to the islands. We're joined by guest DM and SOB veteran London Carlisle and his Ravenloft 5th edition 3-part mini campaign, Isles of Agony. So, 5th edition Ravenloft, everybody, for 3 weeks.
5th edition Ravenloft. I'm super stoked for that. That's the 5th edition I want to play some of. And London is such a great game master and has been on our Thaco show. And I'm so stoked that London can come and help us out and give you guys some 5th edition Ravenloft to enjoy. Isles of Agony sounds beautiful. It sounds kind of like Agon. But
I think we should also tell people
yes,
that this Sunday's Vampire Church, Vampires of Pittsburgh, is also sort of a little mid-season finale as we take a 3-week break from the world of Vampire to instead visit the world of the Magi of Pittsburgh.
Yes, we have been banking some Magi of Pittsburgh episodes for your enjoyment while I am on the East Coast on a little trip. So we will have a season finale, 10 a.m. Pacific on Sunday, a mid-season finale, sweeps week for Vampires of Pittsburgh. And then you will enjoy 3 weeks of Magi of Pittsburgh with Sarah Rose Kaplan, Aaron Urist, and Amy Vorpal. Really, really stoked for that.
It's going to be great. So I just want to make sure people were ready for that. Check your calendar. It's on our public-facing calendar. These games are going to be awesome. So while our schedule's doing a little flip-flop this month, it's all great stuff. So stick around.
Great. Thank you, Clint. Yes, and I would have said that block of text. I didn't see it.
That's totally fine. It wasn't good.
It was good. What are you talking about? Quit being so hard on yourself.
I was so happy when I saw that London
You're
Carlisle
good. You're good. You can do good things.
Oh, Daddy Jared, thank you.
You're smart. Okay. All right. Well, good night, Clinton Trucks, and good night, all you SOBs. Thank you so much for being here. Save game. Turning off the PS1 now.